Hi guys, this is Eve, and today I'd like to show you a nice trick using a repeater. If you've had a chance to use them on EditorX or Wix, it's basically a Flex technology container that allows you to repeat items that have the same design and layout. And in our example today, I chose the EditorX kind of social page that features the different gradients that you can create in EditorX as a background gradient. And what you'll notice here, each block like this is an item in a repeater. Okay, so I have 4 of these. All right. But what you'll notice is that each item has a different structure, a different layout. The first item, the text and this image, is on the left. In the second item, it's on the right. Third item, it's again on the left. And fourth item, it's on the right. Now, you can't do that actually with a regular repeater because the structure has to be the same. So I'm going to show you how you can utilize the multi-state box to create a layout with a repeater that's a bit different. In our case, I call it like a zebra layout because you have one stripe one way and the next one a different way, and then it repeats. Okay, cool. So just to be clear, for those who haven't used repeaters before, it's a nice tool, a list of items that have the same design and layout but different content in each. It's, of course, very quick and easy to use it. I'll show you in a bit, but you have an example here of cards that each have different images and different text, but they each contain the same layout and design, like with a text and description. So with a regular repeater, you can't make the structure different between each element or each item. So I'll show you how to do it. Let's start. I have here the first section, and I'm going to add a second section. Great. And let's bring in the repeater. And I'm going to stretch it. Now, I'd like to actually, because I have each item that covers the entire width of the screen, I'm going to use a list and change the layout. Nice, and I have here 3 items, but I'd like to have 4, so I'm going to press here, add item, and now I have 4 items. Great. And now I am going to drag a multi-state box to each one of these items. Well, I'll only need to drag it once because it's just going to repeat it for the rest of the items. But in order to do that, it's important to notice that we need to turn the dev mode on, because when you use a multi-state box, you'll have to write some code to work it. The only way you'll be able to see it in the add panel is if you first turn on the dev mode. So we're going to turn it on. It's going to set it up. Great. And this is the IDE. And now when we go to layout tools, we have here multi-state boxes. So we're going to drag this state box right here, and we're going to make sure that it covers the entire width and height of the element of the so we're going to put it 100% and just get rid of these margins. Great. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go back to the item, and just to be clear before I continue, when I added a multi-state box to the first item, it's going to basically add a multi-state box to each one of these items. So if I open the layers panel, and I have here, I'll turn the display IDs off, and I have here in the repeater 4 items. When I open it, each one of them now is going to have a multi-state box, which is totally awesome. Okay, great. What a multi-state box allows us to do is to create several states for each box. So when we show a zebra layout, this is actually the multi-state box in one state, whereas in the second item of the repeater, it's a second state in the multi-state box. Then we repeat again what we had in the first item, which is again the first state of the multi-state box, and then the fourth one will be again the second state in the multi-state box. So we play with these states, and that's what allows us to basically show a different layout in each item. So we're going to do it together. Okay, after we added the multi-state box, let's now grab this container of the item, and we're going to make it a grid with 2 columns. Perfect. And let me just first, before we continue, also change the background color. We need it to be black. Nice. And I want to get rid of these gaps in between the items. So I'm going to navigate to my repeater and get rid of the 8 pixel gap. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to place my elements in these 2 columns, and I'm going to just be very aware that what I'm trying to do is I'll place certain items on the left column, certain items on the right, and then when we come and design the second state of the multi-state box, we'll switch them. So this is what will allow us to have this zebra layout. So I'll quickly drop some elements. Some I already prepared in advance and put it in my assets, like this stack here. Okay, and I'll just adjust the margins a little bit. Okay, I'll give it, let's say, I'll give it a 55% margin on the bottom. I'll dock it to the top and to the left. There we go, 55%, 5% on the top. Very good. 5%, not 5 pixels. There we go. Good, and then I'm going to add some images that I already uploaded in the Media Manager. So I have here this image, I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to dock it to the left and to the bottom, and I'll give it here 15%, 15%, and here on the left, what did I put here? Let's make this 8%. So this is also going to be 8% on the left. Actually, maybe 18 would be better. Yeah, that's better. And let me just make this image a bit bigger. This is not, it's now about 37%, so I'll make it 55%. Cool. Now I'm going to add the elements to my right column. So I have here this awesome image. Okay, cool. Let me just adjust it a little bit. Actually, what I'm going to do is dock it on both sides. At the top, I think I put 5% margin, so it aligns with this box. And then here is going to be 25% and 18% on the left. Okay, something like that. And I would like to add some corners to this image just to make it a bit round. Nice. Okay, and then I have one more image. It's this. Great. And let me just adjust again the margins. Here it's 15%, so we'll align it nicely as well, 15%. And on the left, we put 18%, so let's make that as well. Great. Okay, awesome. Now, you'll see that just like a repeater should work, each item gets exactly the same layout and design, which is awesome. And so now, oh, before that, let me add just a horizontal line to kind of separate each item. It will also make it easier for us to look at this. So in decorative horizontal lines, I'm going to choose this line, drop it here, stretch it, and get rid of this margin. Just adjust it a little bit. Great, and it's supposed to add it to each item. Awesome. Okay, so this is one state of our multi-state box that lives in each item. As you can see, I have here a multi-state box with items. Great. So what we're going to do now is work on the second state. So we navigate to the multi-state box, and then you see we have manage states, okay? So this is the state that we just built. We're going to edit the ID and call it even. Great. Now, instead of just doing the same work for the other state, what I can do is erase this extra one and delete this. Okay, so we're left with the even state. But then I can duplicate it. So I'm now duplicating it, and I get a box that's going to be exactly the same. So all we need is now to change and adjust the layout as we please. And this is going to be then odd. Okay, the IDs here are really important because these are the names that we're going to use in the code to then change the state as we wish for. Okay, so now we are basically designing our odd state, okay? And so what we need to do is basically switch sides, right? Because here in this example, you see, we have one state where the text is on the left, and now we basically flip the design. Okay, so let's do it. And this can be super easy, okay? I press the element, and I see here in the inspector panel, I have basically an identification of the grid itself. So I can press an element and then just click on the cell that I want to move the element to. So super easy. I'm going to do the same here. And then I want this image to then go here, and this image to go on the left column. And that's it, basically. That's really it. Okay, great. So we have now basically two states, right? If we open this, we'll see the IDs. We have the even, okay, with the text on the left, and then we have the odd with the text on the right. Very, very cool. Okay, and we have this for each element. So if we go down here to the second element, we have the even and we have the odd state. Perfect. Okay, so what's left? Now we have to actually change them as we wish. So we're going to open the IDE. Here I have this arrow where I can open it. And now we're going to write some code. Super simple, sophisticated by the fact that it's so simple. I'm going to erase this here. Okay, so first of all, we need to make sure that our repeater, we grab it. We can do it through here. We have our repeater, and here we see the ID. So what we're going to do is this, $W, put in repeater, and we're going to loop through the items, okay? So we have here a function called for each item, okay, that gets this callback. And this callback has three parameters that we can use. $item, which is the items inside the repeater, and that's how you can grab the different elements in each item in the repeater. Then one called item data. And we have the index. Now you can call these parameters whatever name you want, but in the end there are three, and you have to have all three of them inside here, even if you're not gonna use some of them. Okay, great. So now we're going to do the following. Basically, we're going to say if index, okay, if index divided by 2 equals 0. Now it's not just, it's module 2. So basically index divided by 2, if it has a remainder of 0, okay, change the item state into even. And we're going to write it like this. We need the multi-state box, okay, and get its ID, okay. dollar item. And remember, it needs to be item, not dollar W, because we're now talking about each item in the repeater. Dollar item, multi-state box 1, change state. And now this is the important part. You remember when I told you that these IDs are important, because that's what we put in here, even. And this has to match the names that we gave here. Okay, so if the index, right, we're looping through the items. If the index is, you can divide it by 2 and it has no remainder, which means it's like an even number, then we change the state to even. Else, we're going to dollar item, multi-state box, change state to odd. So this is so simple and so nice. And let's see if it worked. All right, we have here the first item, and then which has the text on the left and the images on these images on the right. Then in the second one we have them on the right and the image on the left, then this on the left, and then here on the right. So we basically succeeded. I just see that I want, let's see, I want to have some margins here and align it here. Awesome. Let's see it now. Publish. Okay, very, very cool. And just as a side note, if you now want to dynamically create like the actual page, create it with different content, you can do it by using a database, creating a collection, and then putting in all the content you want, the different images, and you can actually dynamically then feed it. So I'll just show you a bit. So we can grab this repeater, and then you see this here, connect to data. And when we press connect to data, we'll need a data set that's going to mediate between the database and the UI. So we create a data set. We choose a collection, and we haven't yet created a collection, so we'll need to create a collection. We then press get started. We can call our collection grid items. And then we put here the different fields, okay? And we add here the images, the text, and all that. And then all we'll need to later is just connect each image, text element, buttons to the different elements here, and you're going to have all that data and see it dynamically on the page. Awesome. Well, thanks so much. I hope you got some creative ideas on how to play and manipulate repeaters, and I'll see you next time.